What's up everybody, I'm Paul and today I'm going to be talking about how you can really catch the eye of a potential employer with your resume alone. Before I launch into the topic, I want to take a quick moment and thank my sponsor, Hub.Careers, for making this video possible. Go check out their website if you haven't, it's awesome. Okay, to kick things off, the most important thing for a resume to really stand out to an employer is for it to be pertinent. None of your potential employers want to hear about your high school pizza tossing days if you were just a cook in the kitchen and you're applying for a job where you're going to be cold calling people for insurance. Now, if you're going to be a chef somewhere, it might be useful to throw in the bit about being a pizza chef back in the day because that shows you have experience in the industry. But if you're applying for an industry that's unrelated, it's just going to be white noise, especially if there's no teamwork aspect or if there's no really relevant skill set that's going to cross over. My second tip has to do with the specific formatting of your resume. So you can't just list the things that you've done and have that be enough to really pop to an employer. The employer has to understand what you took away from an experience. So let's say, for example, you mowed lawns for 3 summers in high school. It doesn't sound super impressive at first glance, right? But let's say you're able to break that down and tell your employer what it is that you gained from that experience. So you owned your own business perhaps for 3 summers. And let's say you had some friends that you were subcontracting lawns to. You can say you managed a team of 3 people. You can say you developed organizational skills needed to maintain the workflow of all your clients. You can say you got good practice cold calling because maybe you went door to door and you asked people if they needed their lawns cut. That kind of stuff is really useful for an employer. You can even talk about gaining skills in just communication in general. If a big part of your job was going around and talking to clients, that's something employers want to see, and it spans almost any work field. Sort of a sub-point along with that tip is being numbers oriented. You have to be very specific and use quantifiable numbers for these takeaways that you had from your job. For example, one job that I had over the summer was to help a company, an engineering firm, implement a new software system for all their techs to use. I could have just put on my resume, helped implement new software, which is okay. That might catch some eyes, but that's not really going to jump out at an employer. What I did instead is I said, I learned a service software that was used by the company to replace an old one. I trained 20 employees on it, gave a presentation. I helped 15 techs install the corresponding application and taught them how to use it in tandem with the software. And before long, you start to really paint this picture of the specific, actionable things that you took away from an experience. The goal here is to stay away from the arbitrary and to really dive into the hyper-specific details and what made that experience worthwhile and why is that going to help you at a different job. So you want to be honest with what you've done and what your work experience is, but you also want to present yourself in the best light. So that means, in a lot of cases, just don't sell yourself short. I know a lot of people who hesitate to sort of brag about themselves on resumes. That's what a resume is for, is it's there to brag about yourself. And as long as you're being truthful with how you're bragging, it's totally fine. Another key point that can really draw in a potential employer is to format your resume correctly. Now, there's no right or wrong when it comes to formatting a resume, but there is eye-catching and drab. So if your resume just looks like a bullet list of some jobs that you've held, that's gonna bore people, and whether or not they realize it, subconsciously they're gonna glaze over what you've done, at least to some extent. It's so easy to find good resume formatting. In fact, if you go to Google Docs and search their templates for resumes, they have dozens of awesome looking resumes where you can just plug in your specific experiences on top of the demo that they already have. It's so fast, it's so easy. There's no excuse to have a boring looking resume. Now, should you make it to an interview round, it's always a good idea to study up on the company that you're interviewing for. This kind of goes without saying, but I'm always kind of shocked with how many people don't fully grasp what the company does that they're interviewing for. You want to have as good of a knowledge as you can of this company going into the interview. This is going to help you ask more poignant questions, which is my next suggestion. If you're in an interview round, you're almost guaranteed to be asked, do you have any questions about the company? Your answer is always yes. You never know everything about the company. People are going to take note and be impressed with you if you can ask good questions about the company that show that you have critical thinking and that you're actually considering this job as a career choice. And don't ask boring questions like, do you like it here? How long have you been with the company? Those things are kind of filler. Ask something more vital. Ask them how would they describe the culture at this company. Ask them, if they woke up tomorrow and they were the CEO of the company, what is one thing that they would change immediately and what's one thing that they would not change? These are the questions that really engage the mind of your interviewer, and it also sort of puts them in a position of power where they feel like they're being treated as a core member of the company, and they probably are. But it's a good display of respect and intuition to show that you understand that there are more dynamics to working for a company than doing things and getting paid. A really common question for interviewers to ask interviewees is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Another fun question that I like to ask to sort of flip the script on interviewers is ask them where they see the company in 5 years. The key takeaways here are be thoughtful, be thorough, and present yourself in the best light, whether that's through a written resume or through how you speak in an interview. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Paul on behalf of Hub.Careers. I hope to see you again soon.